listening to Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. Joining me today is my brother Raysean. Raysean, how are you, dude?
I am doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I love that you just use the voice that you used to send me voice memos when you randomly check in on me. What's good, man? How you doing, man? I'm just checking in on you, man. I get those messages like at least a couple times a week. I fucking love them.
Well, that's just my regular voice, so I don't know. I guess when I'm hyped, usually after I'm getting done smoking, that's usually, for some reason, that's the only time I remember you. And I'd be like, I wonder how Kyle's doing. Let me see how he's doing.
Oh, man.
And I just see your message.
You get stoned and you think of me. It's kind of sweet, man. I just clocked that in my brain and I appreciate that. But enough of this jerking each other off stuff. We got some Dragon Ball to talk about. We did just have a little bit of a pre-show for Patreon where we talked about the chapter a little bit in a sort of negative connotation. So here's what we're going to do today. I have a couple of things up front that I want to talk about before we get into the chapter. We're going to be, what is it? Chapter 84, the pride of people, the people's pride or something. I didn't even write down the fucking title of this chapter today.
It is chapter 84.
Yep.
And it's the people's pride.
Oh, damn. All right. That was off the top of my head. I've now written it down. So we are going to talk about chapter 84, but there's a couple of things up front. In case you didn't listen to the episode last week, I did a Doctor Strange episode primarily, talked about Moon Knight a little bit, but at the front of it, in case you haven't heard, I'm sure you have by now, unless I'm your only Dragon Ball news outlet, in which case you were in rarefied air, Mr. or Miss Listener, and I appreciate your loyalty. But it was announced about 7-10 days ago now that Dragon Ball Superhero will be seeing its international release in August of this year. So,
are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, you one of those loyal, rarefied listeners that only get your news from Dragon Ball from me? Like you're not all over anime fucking Instagram.
You know, sometimes I just wait for you to put out the information to get my information from you to know, make sure it's true. You know what I mean? You are my facts guy. You know, you what's that person that goes and make sure they make sure the president is saying actual true facts. They fact check. You're my fact checker. That's right. What you are.
I appreciate that. I do have a pretty good ability to sniff out bullshit pretty quickly. If you remember the Discord, like sometimes people will shoot off a piece of art regarding the movie. Usually, like a few weeks ago or last week, it was Cell is going to be in Dragon Ball Superhero. I'm like, guys, tone it down. This isn't happening. I don't think this is happening. If it does happen, you can all say you told me so, but I don't think this is happening. But yes, August, they're saying kicking around the date of the 12th. I think that's the second Friday in August for the international. So that means America, North America, and Latin America releases. So that's good news. It'll be about 5-6 weeks in total. So in case you missed that on the episode last week, I wanted to get that out up front before we shift to this granola arc. So earlier in the year, before the Toei hack happened, one of the producers, I think even somebody from Shueisha, so one of the producers of the movie had alluded to like, yeah, we have a movie coming out, but also we have something else to announce soon, but we're not really sure when we'll be able to say it. And yeah, everyone's like, everyone's ears perked up. They're like, yo, anime is going to happen, dude. What?
Finally, geekdom's going to be right.
Yeah, 2.5 years later. Yeah, on good authority. It was already in pre-production, don't you know? We don't talk about that here anymore because today's episode is about me being positive. So don't send me off on a fucking geekdom train of thought because it never ends well. So with the Toei hack happening in early March, I believe, and basically what that hack equated to was some malware. Somebody clicked on a link they shouldn't have in an email. It allowed somebody to gain access, and you know, a lot of people like took advantage of that, and they were like, "Ooh, here's leaked shots of the movie," and like it was just really mocked up fan art that in some cases looked pretty good. In most cases, it did not. But what it did was, what that hack really did was deleted the most recent digital assets that they had been working on. So whatever work they had done in say like the last 2 weeks of time on the movie or whatever, all shit out. Like it's all gone. It's deleted the bed. They had to restore a previous version of what they were working on in not just Dragon Ball Superhero, but a bunch of anime across the board. So that was kind of the Toei hack, right? and we waited, got no news on the thing. I believe that Toei Heck obviously would impact the announcement of the return of the anime, and it delayed the movie. But I also think there's been a bit of a trickle-down effect in the manga. There was another comment made by somebody at Shueisha where they implied the story would be wrapping up in early spring. We are now officially in mid-spring, summer the next time one of these chapters comes out, or just about summer. I kind of get the feeling that this arc was meant to have ended already. And the last couple of chapters, well, I shouldn't say the last couple of chapters. Last month's chapter with Bardock was, I think, always part of the plan. I believe it was the chapter previous to that that just felt very filler-ish. And maybe filler-ish isn't the right word because they are giving us some narrative.
So you talking about the one where he was teleporting around?
Yeah, actually, is that what that was 2 chapters ago? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect definition of a filler chapter. We don't know what the fuck to do, so let's just teleport you off world to a million different places before eventually you just end up coming back 2 chapters later. We've recovered. We've gotten the backstory of my dad, and we had enough time to heal. So I'm just saying, I think this chapter or this arc has been padded out a little bit because Shueisha, Toei, all the supervising entities involved in making Dragon Ball, they expected the hype right now to be about this new movie. This movie was supposed to have come out 3, almost 4 weeks ago now, and it hasn't. So I think they were like, hey, instead of you guys wrapping this up and starting a new arc with some slow based shit while we wait for the new movie to come out, can you just like pad this out a little bit? And maybe the climax of Granola can happen maybe just before the time the movie comes out, which, the time the next chapter comes out, it will be just before the movie. So I guess we'll see. It feels like that to me. I just wanted to point that out to everybody. The timelines for Dragon Ball have been so fucked up over the last few years with when we expect things to come back. And I think the hack sort of is to blame in this instance because it delayed the movie and because they don't have that movie hype. They need some kind of hype. So when are the conclusion of this Granola arc? You have any thoughts on that, or did I just sum it up?
No, I think your opinion makes sense though. Like if I were trying to market Dragon Ball, I would try to keep it at its peak where everybody's at least looking at the manga and everybody's still wondering what's happening. Because I do notice those leaks affect a lot of different manga and different anime. Because I know One Piece, I think their movie had to get moved too. I think their movie is actually pretty close to this Dragon Ball Z release date. But I don't know if that's just the Japan release. I don't know if that's everybody's release.
I believe it's August for the Japanese release date for the One Piece movie. I could be wrong, and I obviously don't follow One Piece, but I do recall seeing that fairly recently.
Yeah, because that's when you said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to try to have them compete against each other. But then I was like, oh, no, they probably just going to do the Japanese release date, knowing Shueisha, because it'd be stupid to really
have those you have Dragon Ball. You have Dragon Ball release at the beginning of the summer, and then you have One Piece release at the end of the summer. Like, yeah. Like way
then you can make as much money on both of them without having them have to compete. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you still get all the kids who are out of school. Although we've dove into this several times on Super Dope. I don't exactly know how Japanese school works. I think they might like take a month off in between semesters or something. So I don't think the summer break works out exactly as it works out here in America, but I don't know. Either way, they're going to make their money both in June and in August, if that is in fact when the One Piece movie airs, or comes out. So, yeah. So those are the 2 things up at the front. 84, I'm taking a little bit of a different approach this month. In case you don't listen to Super Dope a lot, I'm not super keen on how this arc is wrapping up. And this arc is taking fucking forever to wrap up. So instead of me bitching about all the stuff I didn't like about this chapter, which there were some things, I won't say that I didn't like them. I'll just say that I don't think they make a lot of sense in the grand scheme of the story. And they could have done things slightly differently to maybe make it better. Like, I'm just inclined to think about things that way, I guess. And I just want Dragon Ball to be a good product, but I'm not going to bitch this month. So I wrote down 5 things that I genuinely liked about this chapter. I'm not going to do the play-by-play on the fucking this happened. He got punched. She got punched. They said this. They said that. Close beam. I'm not going to do that. I just want to talk about 5 things I genuinely enjoyed about this chapter. We talked about it a little bit before we hit record. Raysean, I think we are pretty much in agreement on a lot of these things, but if any of these things spur additional commentary, just jump the fuck in and tell me to shut up for a second, okay?
Okay.
I'd say the first thing that I really like about this chapter, when it opens up, they're wrapping up or finishing listening to the Bardock audio recording on the Scouter, and Goku's kind of like taking it all in and like remembering it was his dad. And yeah, I expect Goku to have that sort of reaction, right? Like him remembering his dad is a very profound, powerful moment. The cool moment for me in this was Vegeta looks at Goku and he's like, damn it, dude, of all the people to remind me of what it means to be a Saiyan, it had to be your dad. Ugh. And like plays that disgust card for a second. But in the moment, I'm just like, what a brotherly fucking moment that was, man. What a nice little thing. Like, I feel like Bardock just spiritually adopted Vegeta, or maybe the better way to say it is Vegeta just forcibly spiritually made Bardock adopt him as his own Saiyan son. I like that cool. I thought that was a cool little moment that Vegeta's acknowledging, you know, like Bardock was like the epitome, like a great example of a Saiyan. I love that.
Yeah, I liked it. To me, I just thought it was so Vegeta. You know what I mean? Just to find a reason to be mad out of nothing. Because you got to think from his perspective. I guess it's better that he kind of learned it from Goku's dad than from Goku, because it's like he's half saying don't even really know they're saying blood, but to learn it from his dad, he's probably like he's a low class saying I'm learning what a Saiyan is. But I've been kind of feeling like since Dragon Ball Super have started that his mindset of like low class warrior and high class warrior and stuff like that doesn't really matter anymore. I think he just looks at he's starting to become more of a Saiyan, believing in his Saiyan race.
I feel like that's just how he busts balls on Goku now. He's like, yeah, I know you're powerful, but I'm a prince, bitch. Like, don't forget your place. I'm royal blood. Ha ha ha. I know you could kill me. I know that you're our last ditch opportunity chance to save the world. And pretty much all circumstances, I love and respect you, but don't forget I'm the prince. Like, I know that he's not doing it in that like sort of tone, but it's what it feels like to me sometimes.
I can feel you on that. It's just like his arrogancy and trying to, you know, be higher. Because it's really, to me, I think like the only thing that really pits Vegeta over Goku is like his mind, because he's smarter than Goku. If you have an issue, it's better to go to Vegeta with it than Goku. And he also, me personally, I always believe that Vegeta is physically more stronger than Goku. I've just believed Dragon Ball has shown that. And Goku is he's better at ki than Vegeta. And that's why he transforms faster than him. That's just my interpretation.
I could see how you might think that. My the differentiation for the two, but for me, Goku's a natural, Vegeta's a prodigy. So like Goku, everything comes to him very natural. Vegeta understands things. People think of the word prodigy to mean like you're just naturally given the ability to do something. And I don't understand it to be that way. I think it's like you have the natural ability to understand how to do something if you choose to learn how to do it. Like you don't just roll out of bed as a competent fighter. Like Vegeta's a prodigy in the respect that he took to fighting and he learned all he could about it. And he's very tactical with how he fights. Goku does learn on the fly, but a lot of times it feels like it's just sheer will and dumb luck. And those are the way that I kind of, it's not like a ki versus strength thing for me. It's like Vegeta's much more intentional about it. I mean, it's not this, I guess Goku's intentional about it too, but I guess in the heat of the moment, like Vegeta's more tactical, Goku's more go with the flow, you know?
I just feel like Vegeta just, like in almost every arc, in my opinion, I feel like even in this arc, it just seems like he takes more damage than Goku and is able to still be fighting. It seems like he's always taking the worst ass kicking and still fighting. So I've just always attributed that to him just having the best durability.
He's certainly a durable dude. And I think a lot of that is because he's been like main character, you know, 2.0 cannon fodder for Goku for so many years. He kind of has taken on that trait in his new transformation of Ultra Ego. He says that at the end, like, the more damage I take, the more powerful I get, the worse it is for you. I just love that they've taken the idea of Vegeta constantly getting his ass kicked and turned it into some kind of positive for him, you know?
I was trying to figure out how that worked, and I was coming up with like all these different theories on how that could work. Because I was like, I wonder if it's like how you would think of a candle, like if you were like to change the flame and it's flickering brighter now because you like changed the fuel, so now it's like burning like gas, so now it's hotter.
Oh, gas like the guy's fighting. Oh, I see where you're at. I don't know. I think of it more like a trampoline almost. Maybe that's not the right way. Or something bouncy, something absorbing that like reflects back. You know what I mean?
But it also takes away from like, because Donut gives him like a time limit because he can't keep taking damage. Because it comes to a point where it's like, because I mean, this is the last fight where it's like if you get too much where you can't handle it, it's like, you're done.
Yeah, like, I mean that is basically what happened the last time. He just kind of pooped out, right?
I wonder if that's how Beerus is though. But no, we've never seen Beerus really get a hurt.
Yep, and I think he's off. Like, what's he up to? Babysitting the Xenos or something? I don't know what he's even doing. Yeah. The other thing I like about this Goku and Vegeta interaction, though, to round out my first main point, is Vegeta does what we all did as a fandom last month. And he just openly calls out the bullshit of the wish that Bardock made on those Dragon Balls. And he's like, what about you and Raditz, dude? You guys live a charmed life. You live to grow up, to thrive. The only reason that you're here is because of a wish from the Dragon Balls. And I'm like, Jesus, Vegeta, wow. You hit the nail on the head there. Thank you for saying what we were all thinking.
And then I like it how Goku hit him back because after that, he was like, your dad was like sappy. I can't believe a Saiyan would make that type of wish. And then Goku was like, well, ain't you sappy with bra?
Yeah. He's like, it's two entirely different things, which it is. But you telling me Vegeta wouldn't make that wish if he was in Bardock's shoes for Trunks and bra or Buddha or wherever I'm supposed to say it? He would. He totally would. And it ties back into this whole theme that they are shoving down my goddamn fucking throat for the last 9 years from Dragon Ball Minus till now. All right. That's about as negative as I'll get. About Bardock being a family man and the Saiyans not being the ruthless savages that we've all thought them to be over the last 30 years. They're actually multifaceted, By the way, if you guys hear me sniffling, my allergies are kicking the crap out of me still. So excuse me. And that will hopefully cover some of the editing I will or won't have to do. Moving on to the second point, the action for this chapter. That shit, man, was fucking nice. I love choreography between a 2v1 fight. Like, there's so much more you can do with a 2v1 that's more visually interesting to look at than just one-on-one fights. And it all culminates in a big-ass tag team Kamehameha Gallico, which I thought was cool, but in the moment of watching them do the blast together, I'm like, yo, I don't know who's going to take the win. It could be Goku, it could be Vegeta, but the way this is going right now, it could still be my boy Granola, which I feel like would make the most sense for storytelling purposes, but whatever. It felt like this was the moment of them saying, this is neither Goku or Vegeta's story. They are now binded or bound, was the right way to say that. They're now bound together through this renewed sense of, I don't know, Saiyan pride. Like, I'm trying to think of a better word for like whatever it is. I think it'd actually be like a racist word. So like Saiyan nationalism. They feel bound together in this pride in their Saiyan nature, having heard just this audio recording from Bardock. And it was a moment where I'm like, all right, they're both the main characters now.
Because Dave Weaver was like, we're willing to die now. Like, I want to take this guy out no matter what. Like, yeah,
they go up talking a lot of shit. I love it. And they not only go up talking a lot of shit to just gas, they talk shit to each other. He's like, I'm going to get this one. He's like, not if I have anything to say about this, dude. I'm going to be the one to get him. And they're like, yeah, we'll see, bitch. Anyway, hey, Gas, we're here to kill you. Get ready. You don't know what you're messing with. Saiyans with renewed focus on their purpose and whatever. We're here to win. We don't care about Granola. We don't care about Monito. We care about beating your ass because we're Saiyans.
And to me, that's just how Vegeta has been through like every like opponent. Like anytime he sees somebody like doing something he feel like Saiyan should be able to do or do better, he's like, you know what, we're gonna beat your ass. Like we're gonna prove that we're better. Like even with the Hit thing, he was mad that Hit was transforming and looked like it was transforming faster than Goku. And he's like, no, I will hate to believe that another race can transform faster than we can. But if I was to go into the what I liked in this chapter, it's actually happened right before this. It was where you have Gas whole crew with Alec and them, and they were talking on the ship, and basically he was telling them that they did those transformations before, right? I made the wish after they made those transformations, so he should be cool. And then I'll start in my mind, I'm starting to think, well, I guess they're not accounting for that Zenkai's or Zenkai boosts or even stuff like that, because they're not assuming that they could get stronger.
Yeah, and it's kind of a complicated thing. So that I'm glad you brought up that scene with the heaters, because it was not a thing I particularly cared for. Again, I'm being positive today, okay? Mm-hmm. But the scene with the heaters does a couple of things. They notice Goku's transformation. I think it's Maki. She's like, what the heck is that? Super duper ultra instinct or something like that? And I'm like, oh no, are they trying to imply that Goku, his appearance, his transformation somehow is different than how it was before? But they then go on to say, you know, Vegeta has his ego boost thing, whatever they call it, to make a joke out of it. He has that thing going on that he had before. And I'm like, okay, so they've made a comment about how Goku's looks different, but how Vegeta's looks the same as before. That's interesting to me. And then they start doing the math of, well, we made this wish. Granola was already the strongest. We saw them fight against Granola with these forms. Granola was handling them just fine. Since we've made the wish of Gas to be the strongest over Granola, presumably Gas should be able to take these two no problem, even if they combine their forces. Like, okay, cool. I'm being positive today. So I am not going to go off on a diatribe about any of that. I guess it was important to have the scene in there, but I feel like it kind of shows its cards toward, reveals its cards a little bit as to what direction they might be leading in, as to who gets the win. And no surprise to anybody, I think it's going to be Goku.
You think Goku's going to get the win? I don't know. I still, in my heart to heart, believe Granola is about to get the win, because I just don't feel like they would keep him in there. Like even showed him like on the ground. I just feel like he's going to have something's going to do. I don't know, because I was low key thinking about this a little bit while you was just talking. Like, another wish could be made right now, and I don't know how it would affect Granola if you re-wish him to be the strongest. That probably take us 3 months and probably turn into a month or something, or make it like that day. But that's something that could happen, because I don't know if we know what happened to those Dragon Balls, but they could just be somewhere right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they just flew off. I don't think they've gone to recollect them yet, but you're right, though. Granola is shown in like literally just the one panel this month where it's him just laying on the ground and Monito's hot. So I have to assume he's going to factor in toward the end. Again, he's going to factor in again before this wraps up. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you have killed him by now?
The thing is, I think they got to figure out a way to decrease some of his power. Then you can have Granola come in here, can do the final shot. You know what I mean?
You mean decrease Gas's power so Granola can come in and get the final shot?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm thinking that's going to happen. I
think that could exactly be it. Like he'll wake up, he'll get healed a little bit. Goku and Vegeta will have fought Gas enough to weaken him. Hopefully, Granola comes in. He's still the quote unquote second strongest in the universe, I guess.
You know what I just thought about?
Powers up enough to where he burns all of his remaining time left. Gets that final sniper shot through the fucking throat or without the neck or whatever, the heart, and then he burns out and he's no longer a character in Dragon Ball.
Who is his actual enemy? Is it Alec or is it Gas? So who
it's more Elec is his real enemy, okay. but Gas has made Granola his enemy for whatever reason a long time ago. He wanted to kill him, try to tell Alec that he didn't need him. You've got me. I don't know why we need this little bitch ass orphan boy. and he kept him around anyway, and that contributes to the grudge that Gas has had against Granola his whole life.
See, but now me thinking that is I can see them having Goku and Vegeta beat Gas and then having Granola take out Alec. Just to kind of fit those storylines they're trying to create. So I can kind of see that happening now that I kind of think of that, because I'm like, I guess you could always bring that the fact that Alec did kill his mom. So I mean, you can always make that the gun point of his anger, and then kind of come up with a storyline and say that Gas was low key manipulated. So
yeah, and which very clearly is what they've been doing is like, you know, Alec is the true power in that group, and that he's able to manipulate Gas, the strongest of them all. All Alec can do is bust out his ray gun and shoot a motherfucker when he's not looking. And honestly, dude, you might have just hit the nail on the head. Gas gets beaten by Goku and Vegeta, and you know, they ascend to the quote unquote strongest in the universe or whatever. And Granola is able to extract his revenge and have his story arc come to an end by killing Alec after the fact or during or whatever. So, like, when Granola first comes in, so fucking long ago, dude. All right, that's first of all. This arc has gone on entirely too long. But when he first comes in, he drops all of those OG 7-3 clones, comes in and murders all of them. I could see Granola's role in the rest of this arc. Like, he comes to, and he's like, what are the boys? Oh, they're fighting Gas. Well, I probably will just get in their way right now. What about Alec, Oil, and Maki? And then he peels off to go take care of them on their spaceship, all like stealth style, like he did with the OG 7-3 clones. Pops in, fucks up Oil, fucks up Maki, and then he gives him like, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my mother, prepare to die speech to Alec before he chops his motherfucking head off.
Which to me what kind of makes sense, because to me, what's his name? Alec was not, he didn't want to position the ship too close to the hut. I don't know if he was thinking about that, but it seemed like he knew that their power was something that they couldn't handle. So we need to stay far away from that shit. Yeah,
he's weak, but he's smart. He's certainly not foolish. So those, I've actually done my first three main points. So to recap, Vegeta getting inspired by Bardock. Cool. Action was super fucking nice. Cool. The third one, I kind of smushed into my second one a little bit because they sort of go hand in hand. Jeets and Goku having the friendly rivalry, the 2 versus 1 dynamic, and all of that comes with it. I loved so much about this chapter. Number 4, and it's a moment within that battle because it was a super action heavy chapter. The Hakai Shin blast that Vegeta gins up out of fucking nowhere. When it happened and I turned the page and I looked at it or I swiped to the page, whatever. Reading comic books on your phone is weird to me, but I swipe and he's just got this big purpley thing and I'm looking at it like, oh shit. Is it weird that I automatically assume it's purple? It must be purple, right? And I knew what it was before he says anything. I'm like, yo, that's destruction. Like, that's Hakai energy. That's destruction. And he has this big fucking ball of it and he throws it. And the struggle that ensues with that ball is one of the best ones I've seen in a long time in Dragon Ball. Goku and Vegeta both trying to push it at Gas. And then the moment where Vegeta says, like, again, he's a tactical fighter. He's like, I realize what's happening. We can't do anything against Gas's power right now. I'm going to have to go like hit Gas up close to make this thing work. So he peels off from pushing the blast with Goku. Goku clocks it and he's like, what the fuck, man? Are you cool with me just dying right now? Is this how I'm going to go out? You decided that I'm going to die? And he goes to hit Gas and it doesn't work out super well for him.
He gets fucked up.
He gets fucked up, dude. And then Goku manages to deflect the blast and like it doesn't hit the city or whatever. So cool. But like that whole chain of events, like Goku clocking it and just being like, what the fuck, man? Like, it was so funny to me for some reason. Like in Goku's brain, I'm sure he was like, damn, Vegeta, why are you abandoning the cause so soon? We could still win this thing. You're going to try to kill me before Gas kills you? Is that what this is about?
That's a funny way of put. Well, just when you just say Vegeta being a tactical fighter, I was thinking like, I wonder if he planned that. Like he realized like, okay, this is Beam's not strong enough. I'm gonna have to get stronger. So like, fuck it. I'm gonna have to get him to attack me, basically. So I didn't know if like that was his mindset going into that, because it's kind of how it played out at the end of it. But
yeah, I don't think it was, man. He's like rushing him. I think he was like trying to hit him so that way he wouldn't be able to properly deflect the blast from Goku still pushing it anymore. But
he
caught a kick to his gut and he was like, oh yeah, that's right. Getting my ass kicked is my superpower now. Awesome.
Because as soon as he went over there, I literally in my mind, I was like, what gas must have just threw that beam with the rest of his power and just said, come here, then. It just fucked him up. Because I was wondering, like, he just gave up on the beam and just fucked Vegeta up. But then you see Goku just throw it up at the end, which, I mean, I don't know. Because it's like, one thing I thought was kind of cool that they were showing during the fight was Vegeta was the one that was getting hit the most. Goku wasn't. It took that him like actually have to go stomp him down into the ground, because it seemed like he wasn't really attacking them. And I guess that's just how Ultra Instinct works, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool that they were showing that, but I guess it did take a while for Vegeta to actually power up, because I mean he was getting attacked for a little bit for a minute.
Yeah, he was catching the brunt of it for sure. And like you said, like Ultra Instinct is a defensive thing, and Ultra Ego, I don't want to say is an offensive thing, because it does too work in the defensive capacity in that it allows you to take damage and get stronger through it. It's kind of the opposite thought process of Ultra Instinct, but it still allows the person to increase their power. So no, you're spot on. There's throughout all of these battle scenes today, Vegeta's taking a lot more of it until Goku gets fucking stomped, bro. He gets like right there in his fucking solar plex.
And that was like the only way he probably could have hit him. Like, that's what I was thinking. But I wonder if like Granola has some type of Ultra Instinct, like some type of way to be able to fight them, because you would think those abilities would, I don't know, I guess Goku still hasn't mastered it completely, even though like it's supposed to be like master Ultra Instinct. Because if we go back to how Whis was explaining, it was like once you master this, you will be able to like escape any danger, like no threat or anything will be too small. And we still haven't seen that from Goku yet. So I guess he's still at like stage 1 of it or something, or he might need to go Super Saiyan on top of this or some shit or something. But
I don't know. I think it's going to be, I think the thing that Whis has been alluding to for this whole arc is Goku making the Ultra Instinct transformation something of his own. And the way this arc is rounding out is so much about getting in touch with your Saiyan roots and remembering, not that you carry the sins of your people in Vegeta's case, but you carry the pride of your people and what they stand for and what their convictions are, which at the end of the day is still pretty much just fighting, but I guess also loving and protecting your family. So I don't know. I kind of go back and forth on this whole Vegeta storyline now, honestly, with the whole introduction of like, so what I loved about this Vegeta storyline at the beginning of it was like, this is him being able to not absolve himself, but like forgive himself of all the sins of the Saiyans and what he did in his past world, and directly having to confront a victim of the very same work by the very same people that Vegeta used to do. And Vegeta's come so far along in his development as a character and as a person, and now he's a father, and he saved the world 100 times over and is no longer, driven on being the best. And he's resigned himself, at least in theory, to, being the number 2 to Goku. Him having to make peace with that or help this person that's a victim of what he used to do. Like, that storyline was compelling as fuck for me. And now it's like, actually, Bardock reminded me that I like to fight and I like to win. So I'm going to go out there and win. Like, that's that almost negative. That didn't sound very negative, did it though? It sounded like I went to a college class last week.
I think what happened is I feel like their way of fighting kind of changed. Like in the beginning of this arc where you have like Vegeta like worrying about the planet and like worrying about the people on the planet. And like I feel like that's different versus like how Bardock was fighting, where he was fighting more or less to the point where he was like, I want to win this fight. I don't matter. Like, I don't care about the surroundings. It's me and you type of shit. So I feel like all the things they went through, it kind of, their fighting whole aspect kind of changed. And like, they're always like protecting and trying to like Let's.
Bardock was too, though. Bardock was protecting Granola and Naito. Now Vegeta are protecting Granola and Naito and the city.
It was, but you also had that moment where you like the people you're protecting is asking you like, stop. You need to let this fight go. You are losing, and he's still like, I'm not fighting him for you guys no more now.
Yeah,
I'm fighting him because this motherfucker punched me in the face. Like, let's go. Like, I'm about to go. So, like, I feel like that's the mindset. I think their mindset changed a little bit from previous chapters to this chapter. I don't know if that's just me but that's my opinion.
So the fifth positive thing, we've sort of been talking about it this whole time, but the fifth positive thing for me in this chapter is the hope at the end that I know he won't, but this next chapter is going to be a very Vegeta heavy chapter, and probably him just getting the shit kicked out of him and then responding with some big Hakaishin level attacks at Gas. So I'm excited. Maybe Vegeta gets the win. I don't think he will, but maybe he will. I'm just trying to remain positive because I'm tired of being negative about Dragon Ball all the goddamn time. What do you think, Raysean?
What I think actually is, I think the next chapter he's gonna have probably a little bit of moments, but I think because I feel like this just happens like in the last few chapters or last few arcs. I think the next arc is going to be a hype Goku arc where you're going to have Vegeta basically, or it's going to be doing something to basically hype up Goku to basically be able to fight Gas, basically. And like kind of like the same way like where Vegeta gave him that speech right before he was able to master Ultra Instinct. Basically, I put all my pride into you and all of this. I feel like this fight, he's going to watch Vegeta taking all his damage and he's going to see him fighting in this way. It is going to like make him like, okay, I can do this shit. It's probably gonna help awakens whatever Goku needs to awaken in his Saiyan pride to basically make his transformation or power him up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what ultimately is going to happen on the who's the bigger or who's the better, who's the prouder Saiyan front between Goku and Vegeta. I would imagine that the Goku thing, it has to factor in. Like, I would like to think that what they're building toward, Whis telling Goku to get his own version of Ultra Instinct, Goku getting in touch with his Saiyan roots. Actually, I said this to you before we hit record. One of the things that bothered me, again, I'm not being negative today. One of the things that bothered me about last month was, why the fuck did Gas rip Bardock's tail off when we know that Bardock goes back to Planet Vegeta and has a tail in the Broly movie? And in this chapter, it's like, Goku's flashbacks, like Bardock comes home all beaten up. He don't have a tail. His mom like sits down and takes a nap at the table. She like makes some food, does the laundry, and then his dad has a tail again. So like some time has passed, but the idea of Goku getting some kind of unique version of Ultra Instinct that's inspired by his Saiyan heritage. Imagine if at the end of next month, this is completely like, what if out of nowhere fucking theory, like not even a theory, this is just like a holy shit imagine, which we don't do enough of on this show. So this is a new segment called holy shit imagine if at the end of next month's chapter Vegeta's getting the shit kicked out of him, Ultra Ego is exhausted, he's hit him with a bunch of Hakai energy, we're still getting nowhere, and then Goku's like, what's wrong with my butt? And then he like reaches back there and then a fucking tail sprouts out, bro. And he's got a tail again all of a sudden. It just regrew for no reason. That's how Saiyan tails work. They just regrow them what the fuck they want to. Nobody has any rhyme or reason except for the plot. That's the only person who cares about when tails come back. And then he accesses Ultra Instinct. And for some reason, his tail makes him tap into a more primal version of himself. And that becomes this, oh, dude, how cool would that be? Right? Imagine, I know everyone's thinking it and everyone wants me to say it right now. So I'll just say it for you, even though I don't think it's a good idea. Imagine he hits Ultra Instinct. He has this tail out now. And all of a sudden, all the red fur comes out his chest and he loses his nipples and he's a Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Oh my God. That will happen.
If it'd be all white, I think that would be better. Like if it's like the whole Saiyan 4 transformation, but it's like all white. Oh, that would be gangster. I'd be like, I had to give Totoro his props. I was like, bro, you didn't just make all my dreams come true.
Toyotaro and me are friends, but I think he draws a really good action sequence. Yeah. So that's me being positive about chapter 84. How do you think I did?
I think you did pretty good. You pulled out all the good stuff about it. I mean, you still had your little moments in there, but you know, I expect you to give me your honest opinion and tell me how you feel. I feel like you can't be a true fan if all you do is just accept it. You're gonna have to complain a little bit about it. But the crazy thing about it though is just the whole fandom, Dragon Ball fandom itself. It's just one of the most, I don't like to call it a toxic community, but it's toxic. It's to the point where I personally don't really post a lot of Dragon Ball Z content just because I don't like to respond to some stuff, or just the things I see people who say like, oh, I said I didn't like the chapter last week, and then I like the drawings and the shit they're getting for that, and I'm like, you know what, I love Dragon Ball and I'm always gonna stand on that. Like, that's it.
Dude, you just hit the nail on the head on so many things for me. And it's funny because we were talking about it yesterday. Like, there are some people, and I said this to you too, there are some people who think that this arc is goated, bro. This is one of the goated arcs, one of the greatest of all time. First of all, I implore you, if you use the word goated, don't jump the bridge, but reconsider your fucking vernacular, because goated means the greatest. Goated would mean the greatest of all time, right? You've made something the greatest of all time. When you say it's like one of the goats, I don't know, man. It's just one of the greatest of all times. Like, at that point, just don't use the word goat. Use a different word.
Then like it's top 3. I see what you mean.
It's one of the best. It's a top 5. It's a top 3. Don't say it's the greatest of all time. When everything is goated, nothing is goated. All right. That's one. Then there's the other side, which I kind of fall into, that camp of like, this arc is fucking shit in the bed at the end. It started real good, and I just like to complain, and I'm a big old bitch, and yada, yada, yada. So I feel it. Like, you can get some kickback from people on either side of that. If you complain too much about how much you're not enjoying it, Dragon Ball fans don't like anything. And if you freak out about how much you love something, Dragon Ball fans will just take on any old story. Oh, you guys are so stupid. Learn how to read. It's like seriously an exhausting thing about making Dragon Ball content. Never mind genuinely loving Dragon Ball, whether you have a choice or not. Like me, I don't have a choice. I can't stop caring about Dragon Ball. I can be mad fucking annoyed with it. It's like Dragon Ball is the longest relationship I've had going my entire fucking life, bro.
And only one you're willing to deal with the bullshit with.
But it's funny that we're talking about this now, because you and I exchange, like, me and you talk a lot. I don't think people realize how much we talk, but we exchange voice memos pretty frequently, usually through Instagram, sometimes through text message. But we were Instagram texting, voice memoing each other yesterday. And you said some shit that kind of revolves around what we're talking about just now. And I want to play the voicemail or the voice memo if it's cool with you.
Yeah, you can.
So people can kind of have context about what I'm talking about. So here that is.
Bro, I was just about to get on you about that, because I was listening to your podcast and I was wondering, like, what happened? I don't feel that love for Dragon Ball there. Don't get too busy that Super Dope becomes just bullshit, you know? I don't know, man. Just bring the passion back.
So I love the long ass dramatic pause, dude, in the middle of that. Cause like I could see you were looking for the right word to do in a second. But like like I've been thinking about that message since I got it yesterday. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like, you know me better than most, but listeners know me better than most too. Like, you've been listening to this show for, 6 months, a year, a few years since the beginning. You can probably tell by now when like I'm doing well mentally and when I'm not doing well mentally. Last few months have been pretty fucking tough. And sometimes that does leak out into me talking about Dragon Ball, but also this story is just genuinely not going well, considering where it started and what it could have given us to what we're doing now. Goku Vegeta is really strong again all of a sudden. Hey, you know what I just thought of? Clothes beam. We didn't mention the clothes beam one time because I didn't particularly like it, and I'm being positive. What'd you think of the clothes beam, Raysean?
I just thought it was just something the Namex do. I don't know. They've all done it. I thought it was weird that he did put the Bardock clothes on them a little bit, but I guess it was just fan service. But
yeah, Stoyataro saying, "Hey, I know what Team 4-Star is. Close beam," and then putting Goku and Vegeta in Bardock armor so that way they can make that figure in a few years. And I'm sure I'll see somebody pay like $140 on the fucking pre-sale. But me being negative about Dragon Ball, right? So I haven't been enjoying new Dragon Ball. It's tough because it's only once a month. We don't have a cartoon back yet. The movie's been delayed, whatever. What I wanted to do, though, is start going back and taking a look at old Super Dope stuff that in some cases I haven't looked at in a minute. Or some cases it's a piece that I remember and it sticks out in my brain for whatever reason. And it kind of reminds me of like the spirit and the energy of what I used to love about Super Dope or doing Super Dope. And I think this is the start of another new segment. This is our second new segment today. I forgot what the first one was already. Oh, it was you'll imagine that shit. Whatever the fuck.
I think it was Imagine That.
Imagine that. Yo, imagine that. This one is Super Dope Rewind. I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. I'm trying to think of how I would sing that backwards. Just imagine what the dun 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 dun, dun would sound like backwards. Okay, that's how we're starting the segment. Dragon Ball Super Dope Rewind. Back to an episode of me and Vapin Mike Norm, who I actually just hung out with earlier this afternoon, and we're doing a bit. It's not a bit. It's just me talking about some songs, some of the greatest songs of all time. So here's what we're going to do, right? I'm going to play this shit. And if you have any thoughts that occur in regards to what we're talking about, let me know. I'll hit stop. You say what you're thinking. I might do the same thing though. And it might be something about old Super Dope or something. I don't know. Something that makes me think about more positive times in my Dragon Ball content creation career and not the most recent shitting of the bed that is the granola arc. Sound good?
All right. Let's give this a shot.
All right, man. You need me to fucking hit pause. You let me know.
What, you think you know what it is? Go ahead.
I know it's not Dragon Power, but I
Dragon Power. I mean,
for context, we are talking about what are the greatest Dragon Ball opening songs of all time. I cut out the beginning thing, giving context, because in this episode, I keep accusing Vic Mignogna, my fucking best friend in the world, of being the guy who sings the Limit Break X Survivor English version. And he's not. And I just have never fixed that in post. So that's why the context is missing. But that's what we're talking about. The best Dragon Ball opening songs.
that's a movie theme. Yeah. When I talk about opening themes, I'm talking about a specific set of about, what is it, 5 songs now. All right. 6 songs. All right. It's Makufukushigi Adventure, Mysterious Adventure, the first Dragon. If you want to hear a metal version of that song, go listen to the OGDB Super Dope on Patreon, because that's how we open the show.
Hey, that first song you played was the Dragon Ball theme, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, we're talking about the greatest Dragon Ball opening themes of all time. There's 6 of them.
No, I like that thing.
Is that your favorite one, Makufushigi Adventure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a good pick, dude. That's I'd probably say like my 3rd one, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my 4th one. I don't know, but that's a good pick. I love the metal version of it, dude, by the band Animetal. You ever heard of Animetal?
No, I haven't heard though.
So back in the 90s, there was like this 4-piece metal band. Guitar player, bass player, singer, drummer, and they do 45 minutes straight of all anime songs, but it's done in super heavy metal version, like not like super hardcore shit, but like thrash power metal level shit, like what I'm down with from the fucking 80s and 90s. I'll send you a link for them, dude. They fucking kick ass.
Then you got Chala, motherfucking Head Chala.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously, most people's favorite. Then you got We Got Power. Motherfucking no team pecan.
You don't remember that song?
Which arc does this one play through?
That's for the Majin Buu arc. After the Cell Games wraps up, 7-year jump in time, they have the We Got a Power theme song, which was a big one for me, as I'm about to explain. But what I know I'm also about to do before I explain it is sing Japanese poorly, which is one thing that I don't do very often on these shows anymore. I've dropped a lot of my Japanese accents. It's not cool. It's racist, whatever. But also, I'm just
gotta play it. I want
to. You know what I'm saying? Like that song whoops ass.
Like I literally I suck ass. I gotta stop singing this.
Oh,
he got motherfucking Dan Dan Kokoro Ika. Like Dan's great.
Dan's the best one.
And then you got the two openings from Super. So when I refer to Dragon Ball Super opening songs, those are the ones specifically that I am referencing.
What about
those 6?
Puppy Kitty Zenkai Power?
Doggy Kitty Zenkai Power.
Is that an ending?
Oh, I thought so too.
Dude, the Dragon Ball Z endings, those 2. And then you got fucking
because I think that comes from Dragon Ball
Angels, whatever.
That's the ending song. Mike Mike Norm used to have this fucking. It's this list of like fucking 50 probably different Dragon Ball songs that me and Mike have just compiled on SoundCloud. So like he'll listen to them all. He don't know where the fuck they're from. He's like, is that an opening song? Is that a closing song? Is that a movie song? You know, like he just knows they're Dragon Ball songs. You know what I mean?
I feel it.
Fuck it's called Angel, 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 that shit means the world to me because that was the first like that one. Trying to We Got a Power. Exactly I heard was, the 2 first Japanese themes that I was like properly introduced to. You know what I mean?
So that's the other ending for Dragon Ball Z. At the end of the Buu arc, Japanese releases, and they use those themes throughout. The background music a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Through the fucking bootlegs that I got from my uncle Julius, who doesn't think that I ever give him shout outs on this podcast, but yeah, I've talked about him and his magical duffel bag coming back and forth from New York City countless times on the show.
Can we thank him for these really cool, authentic Japanese school supplies?
So no, we can't. We can thank my other uncle. We'll just call him Uncle Steve.
So, Raysean, we talked about like ways in which we started watching Dragon Ball. My Uncle Julius was my gateway in. All right. Listeners of the show know that. You probably don't.
Mm-hmm.
My Uncle Julius, my Uncle Steven, these 2 guys I'm talking about here, they're not really my uncles. They're my dad's best friends of, I would say, close to 35 years. Like, I don't have any memories in my life where I did not know who they were as people. So, yeah. I think I'm actually going to see them this weekend, actually. I haven't seen Julius in a few months, but my Uncle Steven has actually been living in China the last 2 years. Like, I think it was he moved to Thailand just as COVID started. And then like a year later, he moved to China. And I think he's home for a little bit and he's moving to another foreign fucking country.
Did your dad still hang out with them?
I mean, yeah, when he's not living in China, yeah.
I just think that's cool to have like friendships that last that long.
It's fucking rare, man. Like I'm lucky in that Jimmy and Carlton, I've been friends with them and Amber, like Jimmy, Amber, and Carlton are all brother and they're siblings. I've been friends with them for just over 20 years now. Like they're probably my longest running friends that, to the point where it's like similar kind of conversation. Like they're more like my family than I don't know. I don't want to say my own family, but it certainly feels like that sometimes. And I think it feels like that for my dad and my Uncle Julius and my Uncle Steve as well. So shout out to that. See, don't I sound so young and exuberant and full of life and love in Dragon Ball in this thing?
You sound like you having a fun conversation with somebody.
Yeah. I sound like it's OG Dragon Ball. Me and my buddy Mike are drinking beers on a Sunday afternoon and I'm fucking chain smoking cigarettes into a microphone.
Uncle Robo. Call him Uncle Robo. All right.
Robo Steve.
Yeah, Robo. Robo recently, and like this dude took he got married in the last couple of years.
I'm about to tell the whole story that I just told you guys. I'm just gonna keep it.
Honeymoon. He and his wife spent basically, I think, a month, maybe a little over a month in Japan. just exploring Japan. The whole
Different
entire
part of the
country,
story,
spent
I
a lot of
guess.
time in Tokyo. And he came back and he was like, dude, you have to go. That, like, you would not fucking believe some of this shit going on there. But
we got to make sure this podcast gets released in Japan. Work on our, fan base over there.
I mean, we have at least one fan in Japan.
All right, that's a
that
start.
I'm aware of.
To start.
And it's Todd Russell, who I think, yeah, it's Todd. Never mind. You know what? I bet you Todd, that prick fucking fell off. And you know what, Todd? If you haven't
Shout
fell
out,
off,
Todd,
prove me
if
wrong
you
and
still
tell me that you
watching.
just fucking heard me call you out like that, prick. Although I did watch him do a.
What's funny about me calling out Todd and then calling him a prick? What's funny is that I genuinely felt that way. I was like, all right, fuck you, man. You moved on to another podcast.
Oh, damn.
A couple months back, dude. A couple months back. I don't remember how, like, I'm friends with him on Facebook, but I don't remember why he was in my comments or what even he was commenting on. But the effect of his comment was like, I never listen to podcasts. I've never listened to a podcast except your podcast. You're the only podcast I ever listened to, and I loved it. And I hope you're still making it, even though I don't listen to it right now. I was like, what a nice thing that you did not have to fucking say. And I appreciate you sharing that with me. Like,
That's dope.
yeah, it's always cooler when like somebody is so intrigued by the content where they're like, what's a podcast? Let me go figure out what a podcast is real quick. And hopefully that's like the gateway into you listening to more podcasts and learning about other shit. But being the thing that draws somebody in, even if they don't end up listening to other podcasts, kind of flattering. We love you, Todd. I hope you're doing well, baby.
Hope so.
True story. Todd actually bought me tickets for the Broly movie when it first released in Japan. He like bought us 2 tickets and got us these 2 little keychain toys and sent them to me and Mike in the mail.
That's dope as hell.
Todd, you a real one, dude.
Really cool
Amazing
unbox video
fanship
of
right
like
there.
a cool like Goku and Demon King Piccolo thing a couple weeks, a statue that he got at like, he lives in Japan. He's in the military. So it's like fucking 4:00 in the morning here. And it's like, I don't know what time there, like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
That's how I know Todd. He's a real serious Dragon Ball collector. He fucking buys all the crazy big $1,000 statues and all that shit.
Whatever the fuck it is. And I popped in that room, I watched him do his thing, and I said, super dope. And he gave us a shout out, super dope.
Hell yeah.
That's our only fan in Japan that I'm aware of. We have a couple other people we could probably work on being fans, who are like important fans of like influence that we have like pretty close connections to.
Like who?
If we can get them on Team Super Dope, maybe we'd have a little bit of a foothold. And
So I believe I'm genuinely wondering like who I could be talking about here, because I'm always talking about like, maybe I'll get this person on the show and y'all fucking respect me then. But this is during the Vic stuff. Like this episode comes from this comes from an episode that came out right after all the Vic Mignonia stuff.
Mhm.
So it wasn't us breaking it all down in full. It's the one after it. So I do talk about some shit, but I was so mad. Like she's since come on the show, Monica Real, friend of the show. Shout out Monica, the voice of Bulma Briefs and all that. But I had been in touch with her for like 3 or 4 months before that Vic shit happened. I'm like, once the movie comes out, she was gonna come on. Once the Broly movie comes out, and we're all done doing the promo and the press. I'm gonna come on the show, and then the Vic shit happens, and she just goes into hiding, from all media appearances for like a year and a half. But it finally materialized. But that's what I'm talking about there. Just so you know, if I can just get them on Team Super Dope, like. Also, I might have been talking about Geekdom too, because this was probably around the time I was talking about Geekdom coming on the show. But he and I eventually, unsurprisingly, we reached an. We don't even have a beef. We just reached an impasse, and he did some real big timer shit on me, which is whatever.
Japan, you know what I'm saying? My Uncle Robo went back to Japan recently because his wife's best friend got married in India.
Fascinating story, Kyle.
So they had a layover in Japan. This was their second time in the country. They were there for like 6 hours or something like that. So they went out and explored, and they got me these fucking super dope Dragon Ball Super School supplies.
All right, this thing's pretty
But I
cool,
haven't
man.
opened them up, but we're going to open them up right now.
So then, as I just suggested there, we Open up school supplies. I had an eraser. I had a stickers. I had a pencil.
I'm weak.
Yeah,
Were they Dragon Ball related or?
Oh, hell yeah, bro. It was all Tournament of Power themed, like lots of Golden Frieza, Android 17. Like they gave me that shit within like the I don't know, within a few months of super ending on television. So all the stuff in Japan that they grabbed at like whatever, the little stationary station that they have within the plane within the airport. They had some fucking Dragon Ball stuff. They grabbed it for me.
I
We
was wanting
opened
to
it
go
up.
over there to Japan.
Dude, we should go. If I had the money to go, I would have gone a long time ago, but don't. So
I always want to go to one of them anime conventions just to see how they do it over there. Because you see videos and stuff, and you just like, man, I would love to go there and see like a huge Goku fucking parade balloon and some
Right.
shit like that.
go there and see like a fucking operational Gundam wing fucking mech marching through the streets. Like I'd shit my pants, bro.
Man,
I think we're better off probably staying away from that and just observing it from afar. Because if we get too close, our poor little fragile wee brains will surely implode.
I know if I probably go to one of those places, I'll probably have to leave my card, like my credit card, in the house or at the hotel because I'll probably be broke.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to.
Be
'cause
buying
I'm-
random stuff.
Yeah, my fucking debit card don't buy shit these days. So patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope. If you want a good 20, 30 minutes of pre-show stuff, me and Raysean, actually, I talked about all the negative stuff on Patreon before we hit record for the public feed. So that way I wouldn't get too negative on the public recording. So you're welcome. I hope this new fucking positive 5 favorite fucking things, Kyle, you liked it, you bitch ass mother. Raysean, you like the chapter?
I liked the chapter. I give it an 8.
Damn,
Earlier, I
dude.
think I said a 7, but
You
I
did.
think I give it an 8. And the only reason why I moved up a little bit is because I did like the ending thing when you have Vegeta like ready to like go. I liked the whole little Goku throwing up the Hakai blast so it didn't hit the city. And I liked the action. I thought the action was drawn really nice. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
give it an 8.
Action was definitely the highlight. The narrative stuff, it was just like, man. And then you were here for the first Super Dope Rewind or whatever the fuck that thing ends up getting called. So,
Always making history.
yeah, man, you were a little bit of the inspiration for it. I mean, I've kind of considered like pulling that episode out to re-edit some things so that way there's really no Vic stuff in it. But fuck it, it's out there. It's been out there. But pulling segments like that, I think, could be fun for me to do solo episodes on in the future. But it's also fun for me to have you here too, because I mean, think about it. Otherwise, it would just be me listening to a sound clip of me and then stopping the sound clip of me to be able to talk more about what I was thinking when I recorded that original sound clip of me, who's now making a new sound clip of me. Like,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah,
It
it's
would have been you
yeah,
giving a review of yourself.
yeah. So, this was fun though. I'm glad you were here for the first one. Maybe I subject guests to old pieces of my content more often in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think I'm doing something for my birthday for Super Dope in a few weeks. I'm not sure, but we're talking about it. So that'll be, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 weeks from now. I think next week might be a appearance that Raysean and I did on the NPC pod with Leonard, his show. Oh shit, I called him by his old name. So we call him GB on Super Dope, but the NPC pod still calls him Leonard. And it confuses the fuck out of me. But
It's a whole different guy on that podcast.
Yeah. He is and he isn't. Like he's still like reserved to himself and like just hops in with a fucking quicky little one-liner here and there. But that was a fun conversation. If you haven't checked it out, that'll probably be on the feed next week. It's been out for the last few weeks if you haven't checked it out already. Birthday episode. I don't know what the fuck we're doing here at Super Dope anymore. So one day at a time, baby. Who knows what's gonna happen next week? I could be dead. So Raysean, our Gap podcast still going strong, my friend.
Yeah, we still going strong. Next week we should have an episode basically concluding with the Black Clover manga, because that's what I started on the last episode. We're basically covering that manga for probably the next few episodes until we catch up to where they are now.
Oh, so did you start it from the beginning?
No, I didn't start from the beginning. I started from where the anime stopped. because
Oh,
I feel
all
like
right.
everybody probably didn't watch the anime, so I was just trying to cover more of the new material because the movie's supposed to be coming out soon.
Cool. Well, good idea too. Like you're covering stuff that eventually will come out in the anime. So if people get to the end of whatever most recent season it was and they want to learn more about it, they can go check out your coverage. That's cool. Word, man. Hey, by the way, before we wrap it up, we're about to we're going a little long here. I appreciate your patience, my friend, but last advice pods, man. People loved them.
No, did they? That's good.
Yeah, people love the dynamic between me, you, and Kelly. It's awesome. And we have been talking about it a little bit behind the scenes, me, Kelly, and Raysean, about like how we're going to do it in the future, how the structure of the show will go, and if it gets spun off into its own thing, which I think it's going to. Maybe not right away, but we're hopeful for like maybe after the summertime, it's its own thing, and we've got a bunch of shit recorded, and we can hit the ground running. So, thanks for all the positive feedback on that stuff, and yeah, keep it coming. You know, I appreciate it. If you want to support the show even further, outside of your very nice comments, patreon.com/Dragon Ball Super Dope, Cash App, Ko-Fi links are all in the show notes. I'm chasing a lot of invoices this week, so if you want to donate something, that'd be cool. Anyway, Raysean, I appreciate you, dude. I will talk with you probably like in 20 minutes after this is over because we talk all the time. And I love that about us.
That's
Super Raysean and me, we talk all the time.
super dope.
Raysean and me, we talk all the time. That worked out pretty well. Super dope.
That's what it